You have been taught to work hard, but no one taught you to think richly. You have been told to save pennies, while men of power create millions with a single idea. I am here to awaken you, for there is a way to command money, to attract it in such boundless amounts that poverty becomes impossible, not through chance, not through inheritance, but through the mind that is trained to think in gold. Stay with me, and I will give you the exact steps that built the fortunes of Carnegie, Ford, and Edison, and can now build yours. Let me ask you plainly, have you decided to be rich, or are you still entertaining the illusion that riches belong to other men? Are you waiting for your ship to come in while refusing to build the ship? Are you hoping for money while speaking words of poverty and walking in fear? You say you want more money, but desire without decision is the seed of poverty. Most men do not lack opportunity, they lack will. They do not suffer from fate, they suffer from indefinite thought. They drift, they wish, they hesitate. They speak of dreams, but act on doubt. And so life gives them exactly what they have commanded: fear, limitation, lack. You were not born to live this way. You were not created to fear every bill and serve every coin. You were born rich in thought, rich in spirit, rich in possibility. And today, if you will hear me, if you will stay with me to the end, I will teach you how to awaken riches so vast, so continuous, so overflowing, you will not be able to spend it all in a single lifetime. This is no idle promise. This is not wishful thinking. It is not fantasy. It is not hope. It is law. I am not here to inspire you. I am here to instruct you. There is a method by which riches are attracted to the mind that is trained to think in gold, to believe in abundance, to speak with definiteness, and to act without fear. These words you are about to hear are not mine alone. They are the distilled conclusions of 25 years of labor, born of my association with Andrew Carnegie, who charged me to interview and study the 500 most successful men of the age. Men who rose from nothing to control industries, men who possessed no formal education, no wealth, no social position, and yet shaped the course of history through the power of organized thought. Among them, Henry Ford, who began as a farm boy with a dream and reshaped transportation. Thomas Edison, who failed 10,000 times before birthing the electric light. Charles Schwab, who rose from laborer to command a steel empire. Rockefeller, Morgan, Hill, Gillette, all of them different in station, but united in one trait. They trained their minds to attract riches, and they demanded wealth from life with such faith that life could not deny them. And now, so can you. But let me warn you, this is not a speech for casual ears. This is not a tale told to pass time. What follows is a spiritual blueprint for commanding riches. You must not listen lightly. You must not drift while you listen. For if you miss a single part, you may miss the very step that was meant to unlock your fortune. The principles I will give you are exact. They are eternal. They are the same laws that lifted these men from obscurity to greatness. If you will stay with me, if you will submit yourself to the instructions, if you will apply what you hear with faith and decision, you will build a fortune so expansive, so enduring, that the world itself will bend to your definiteness of purpose. And so I say again, stay until the final word. Do not be like the man who dug for gold and quit 3 feet from the vein. Do not be like the multitude who say, I already know this, yet live as beggars in a universe of wealth. Remain, listen, absorb, command. For this may be the hour your life changes. And if it is, if you grasp the truth I will unfold, you will rise from your present state and begin to attract more money than you ever thought possible. So much that spending becomes secondary, so much that giving becomes joy, so much that you no longer chase riches, you become a magnet for them. Repeat these words before we begin. I was not born to be poor, I was born to be rich. I do not wait for money, I command it. My thoughts are definite, my aim is clear, my fortune is on its way. Now let us begin. If you think riches are for other men, I tell you plainly, you have already rejected the treasure that was meant to be yours. If you believe wealth is for those born under a lucky star, or blessed by some divine exception, or gifted with mysterious talents beyond your reach, then I must be direct with you. You have already forfeited your inheritance. For the first step toward wealth is not labor. It is not education. It is not luck, nor connection, nor time. The first step toward riches, without exception, is the belief that you can possess them. Until that belief is planted deep in your spirit, no action will bear fruit, no plan will gain traction, and no effort will be sufficient to overcome poverty. But once you believe, truly believe, that wealth is not only available to you, but meant for you, then the floodgates of possibility begin to move, first within, then without. Every man who has ever been wealthy began by first believing he could be. Before there was gold in his pocket, there was gold in his thoughts. Before there were houses and lands and factories and fortunes, there was one thing, a definite belief that he would possess them. Henry Ford had not $1 when he began his pursuit. He had no formal education. He had no family inheritance. What he had was a vision, and a faith in that vision that grew hotter each day until it consumed his very doubts. John D. Rockefeller, before he was a name, walked to his first job interview in worn clothes and with trembling hands. But in his mind, he already saw himself at the helm of a great enterprise. Charles Schwab, as a youth, carried steel messages and swept floors. But in his mind, he saw skyscrapers and empires. They believed before they earned, and because they believed, they earned more than most men can count. That is not a trick. That is not mystery. That is not divine favoritism. That is law. You must tear from your mind the lie that poverty is noble or permanent or beyond your control. Poverty is a temporary condition, born of indefinite thinking, sustained by fear, and cured only by the decision to think accurately, believe fully, and act with purpose. I have seen men lift themselves from starvation to abundance in a matter of years, not because the economy changed, nor because someone handed them money, but because they began to think definitely. The riches were always within them, but they were waiting for orders. And so it is with you. There is more gold within your mind than in all the mines of the earth, but it lies dormant until you give it orders. You are the only commander your subconscious will obey. And yet most men speak no orders at all. They let their thoughts wander like dogs off a leash, chasing every doubt, every fear, every worry that enters the gates of the world. They complain of lack while thinking in lack. They fear bills and create more. They speak of what they cannot afford, and thus ensure that their wealth never arrives. They declare war on their own riches by repeating the slogans of the poor. I can't afford that. That's too expensive. Money doesn't grow on trees, and then they wonder why money does not grow in their life. What you say is a command. What you think is a blueprint. What you believe becomes real. This is not philosophy, it is fact. Look at your present condition. You work hard, but the harder you work, the farther ahead the goal seems to move. You save pennies, but somehow the dollars vanish. You lie awake at night, not from abundance, but from anxiety. You wonder how you'll pay the next bill. You fear that wealth may never come. You look at other men who live in abundance and think they are made of something different. My friend, what you lack is not money. What you lack is a command over your own mind. You are letting the most powerful instrument ever created run wild without direction. Your subconscious obeys only definite orders, and you have issued none. If you desire riches, you must stop thinking like a man who accepts poverty. You must declare war on vagueness. You must stop talking like a man who is merely trying to get by. Do not say, I want more money. That is not definite, that is not purpose, that is not command. Say this instead, I demand of life $1 million, and I will earn it by rendering a specific service. Name the amount, Name the method, write it, speak it, feel it, see it in your mind so vividly that your very bones respond to it. This is how riches are summoned. A man may say, "But I have no skills." Then learn. "I have no capital." Then begin where you are. "I have no connections." Then speak so clearly and think so powerfully that connection is drawn to you. Desire, when definite, backed by belief, reinforced by repetition, and carried into action, will tear down every obstacle you now face. But if you drift, if you delay, if you speak aimlessly and act timidly, you will remain a beggar in a world of gold. I have spoken with men who lost everything, business gone, friends gone, reputation ruined, but within months some of them rebuilt, faster, stronger, wealthier. Why? Because they still believed they could. They still saw the vision. They still acted with precision. The world respects the man who knows what he wants, and it ignores the man who does not. Right now, there are riches in motion. More money than you can fathom is changing hands every hour. But only those who think with definiteness and speak with belief will attract it. The rest will watch from a distance, wondering why wealth passes them by like a carriage in the night. Now I say to you, you are the richest man alive if you choose to be. You must repeat it, not once, but daily, until the words dissolve your doubt, until your subconscious accepts them as law, until your every action flows from the identity of a man who was born to be rich. Say it now. I was born to be rich. I will demand riches from life. My thoughts attract gold. My words command gold. My actions draw gold. I am a rich man in thought, in purpose, in spirit, and soon in possession. There is no virtue in poverty. There is no strength in lack. There is only misdirection, thoughts turned inward, backwards, and downward. You were meant to rise, to build, to create, to overflow with so much wealth that it blesses others. Money is a tool, one you must master, not fear. It is a servant to the trained mind. It is an ally to the definite man. It is an enemy only to the weak, the wavering, and the wandering. Let your past be poor if it must, but let your thoughts be rich from this moment forward. And if you continue with me, if you give yourself fully to the teachings ahead, if you obey the laws I will now lay before you, the day will soon come when you open your ledger and find yourself overwhelmed, not by debt, but by surplus, not by fear, but by power, not by questions, but by purpose. And when that day comes, remember this moment, the moment you first declared, I will be rich, and meant it. Now, let us continue. Riches never come by accident. They do not fall from the sky, nor do they arrive by luck. Riches are the result of desire, not a wish, not a fleeting hope, but a consuming, persistent, burning desire that refuses to accept anything less than wealth. A wish says, I hope to be rich. Desire says, I shall be rich, and nothing shall stop me. That difference is the chasm between the poor and the powerful. The beginning of all riches is desire, pure, white-hot, unrelenting. Every great fortune you admire began first in the heart of a man who would not let go of the picture he saw in his mind. That picture, repeated with feeling and belief, called forth the money to match it. Weak desires bring weak results. Vague hopes bring vague returns. Only desire backed by belief, repeated until it becomes faith, and then carried out with definite action, can compel wealth to obey you. Desire must not live in your mouth alone. It must saturate your thoughts. It must dictate your speech. It must drive your deeds. It must become the dominating influence of your waking hours and a companion to your dreams. The man who drifts says, I'd like more money. The man of purpose says, I will possess a fortune, and here is the exact amount I claim. One is hoping, the other is commanding, and the world bows only to the man who commands. Consider the story of Edwin C. Barnes. He did not begin with money. He did not even begin with introduction or favor. He began with desire, a burning desire to become the business partner of Thomas Edison. He had no way of knowing how it would happen. but his desire was so definite, so persistent, that he acted upon it. He boarded a freight train, crossed miles with no ticket, and arrived at Edison's office uninvited, unannounced, but unwavering. When Edison saw him, he later said, he looked like an ordinary tramp. But there was something in his eyes that told me he would not leave without getting what he came for. That something was desire, stronger than appearance, louder than credentials. Barnes did not get his partnership immediately, but he accepted a menial job, and for years he kept his eyes on the one thing he came for. Then came the day Edison launched a new invention. The salesman did not believe in it, but Barnes did. He seized the opportunity. He sold the invention with such belief that it swept the nation. And so Barnes, the unknown man with no money and no title, became the trusted partner of Thomas Edison. He became rich, not by chance, but by desire. That story lives because it proves the law. Burning desire, backed by definiteness of purpose, carried out by action, will create its own opportunities. The world moves aside for the man who knows where he is going. Now ask yourself, have you truly decided what you want? Or are you still hoping vaguely for improvement? Are you chasing 5 goals? Or have you chosen one aim and made it the master thought of your life? Let me give you the 6 exact steps that, when followed, will turn desire into riches. I did not create these steps. I discovered them in the lives of every wealthy man I studied. They are not theory, they are law. 1. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Not more money, a definite sum. The subconscious does not respond to vagueness. 2. Determine exactly what you will give in return. There is no such thing as something for nothing. What service, what product, what value will you render? 3. Establish a definite date by which you intend to possess the money. A goal without a date is a dream, and dreams, unwatched, fade. 4. Create a definite plan and begin at once, whether you feel ready or not. The man who waits for perfect readiness never begins. Begin now. 5. Write out a clear statement of your goal and include the amount, the service, the date, and your plan. Write it in full. 6. Read your written statement aloud twice each day, morning and night. Read it with faith. Read it with emotion. Read it until your subconscious accepts it as fact. If you will do these 6 steps daily, riches will begin to move toward you in ways you cannot predict. The method is not instant, but it is inevitable when followed with discipline. But let me say this directly. If you have not written down your definite sum, you are not serious. You may say you want wealth, but if your desire has not yet reached your pen, it is not yet ready to command your life. Words spoken pass quickly, but words written hold the mind. Writing your desire with clarity and conviction is the first outward sign that you have begun to shape your inward faith. If you cannot decide what you want, how can the infinite respond? The man who is unclear in thought is invisible to opportunity. But the man who writes his purpose in ink writes it first into his future. You must become so obsessed with riches that you feel the weight of the gold in your hands before the world gives you a coin. Your imagination must furnish the evidence before the bank does. Desire must live in your imagination like fire in the furnace, consuming, directing, heating every thought with purpose. If you do not see the money inwardly, you will never receive it outwardly. Say aloud, my desire is definite. My goal is clear. I will have it. Repeat it again, not weakly, not questioningly. Say it as a commander. My desire is definite. My goal is clear. I will have it. Each morning, read your statement. See yourself already in possession of the money. Feel what it will feel like. Speak as if the wealth is already yours. At night, read it again, so that your last thoughts before sleep are thoughts of riches. This is not fantasy. This is instruction. The subconscious does not sleep. It listens in the dark. And when it hears the same message night and morning, it begins to accept it as law, and deliver the circumstances to match it. Do not skip this. Do not neglect this. You may work 10 hours a day, but if you will not take 10 minutes to speak your riches into being, you are sabotaging your wealth before it begins. Riches are not accidents. They are commanded. They are built first in the mind and then made real by the hand. The world is filled with men who work hard, but only the men who desire definitely grow rich. Let others chase opportunities without direction. Let others complain of bad luck. You must burn with desire and move with precision. That is the way forward. That is the road to riches. Say this: money is coming to me now in increasing quantities. My mind is magnetized to wealth. I act with purpose. I speak with command. I walk in riches. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are not behind. The moment you decide with definiteness, the universe moves to meet you. Desire is the invitation. Belief is the key. Action is the door. And you, yes, you, must begin now. Let us go forward. Faith is the spiritual chemistry by which thought is converted into riches. You cannot touch it, yet it molds every coin. You cannot weigh it, yet it tips the scales of fortune. Without it, desire remains a dream. With it, desire becomes substance. You do not wait for faith to arrive. You build it. It is not found, it is formed. Faith is not the reward of circumstance, it is the cause of it. You create it through the repetition of belief until your subconscious accepts your words as reality. Faith does not come to the lazy mind. It is the prize of the disciplined thinker. It is forged in silence and repeated aloud until the very marrow of your bones believes what your lips declare. When you speak your definite chief, aim aloud, day after day, morning and night, with emotion and belief, you are building faith. You are saturating your subconscious with truth until doubt no longer finds a place to hide. It is impossible to become rich without faith. The man who doubts himself shall remain poor, even in a land of gold. The man who believes, even in a land of hardship, will find the way. Faith must come before the money, not after. This is the great error of the drifting masses. They say, when I see the riches, I will believe. But life says, believe first, and then you shall see. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It begins with a word spoken aloud, a picture in the mind, and a feeling in the heart that refuses to let go. If your faith is weak, it is because your repetition has been weak. If your belief is shallow, your confession has been shallow. If your results are poor, your self-talk has been poor. You are the prophet of your own destiny, and the words you speak today create the future you will walk in tomorrow. Speak as a king, and riches will obey. Speak as a beggar, and poverty will remain. Let me tell you of a man who believed. His name was Charles M. Schwab. He was not born into riches, but he carried in his mind an idea so powerful, and in his voice such belief, that it built an empire. He came to Andrew Carnegie with nothing but conviction. He did not ask for permission. He did not beg for opportunity. He spoke with such faith that Carnegie entrusted him with the formation of United States Steel. That decision created a $600 million empire and made Schwab one of the wealthiest men of his generation. What gave him this power? Faith in himself, faith in his idea, faith in his ability to carry it through. He had no assurance except the voice inside him, but he obeyed it. He repeated it, and that inner certainty became outer reality. That is the power of belief before evidence. The world responds not to need, but to belief. You do not get what you want. You get what you are certain of. You do not receive by wishing. You receive by declaring. I have said it before, and I say it again. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is no mere slogan. It is the foundation of every fortune ever made. If you cannot yet see the money, then see it in your mind. If you do not yet possess it, speak as if you already do. Walk, speak, and act as though the fortune is yours. When you do this consistently, you are programming your subconscious to obey. and your subconscious will create the conditions to fulfill what you believe. Doubt is poison. Doubt whispers, maybe it won't work. Doubt says, who am I to be rich? Doubt claims to protect you, but it steals from you every hour you entertain it. If you hold doubt in your heart, it will choke your dream at the root. The man who doubts today will beg tomorrow. He will delay his riches for years while waiting for permission. But faith never asks permission. Faith moves forward while others retreat. Faith speaks truth in the face of empty pockets. Faith declares wealth while the world calls it madness. If you lack faith, begin today to create it. Speak your definite chief aim aloud. Say it with feeling. Say it with certainty. Say it when you feel it and when you do not. Say it until your voice shakes no longer. Say it until the words no longer sound strange. Say it until your subconscious accepts it as law. Then your mind will go to work creating the results. This is not mystery. This is mechanics. This is how the great men of wealth whom I studied over 25 years created their fortunes. They saw the fortune first in the mind. They believed in it while others doubted. They declared it while others feared. They acted while others hesitated. And so the world yielded its riches to their command. When you build faith, you remove hesitation. When faith is strong, decisions are quick, actions are bold, plans are executed with power, and riches once distant begin to move swiftly toward you. Faith is the bridge between desire and money. Without it, desire remains a fantasy. With it, desire becomes destiny. Say this aloud now. I believe I am rich. I believe riches are coming to me now. Faith is the bridge between desire and money. Speak it with force. Say it again and again. For every time you speak these words, you are building new grooves in your mind. And these grooves become roads for riches to travel. Faith does not come by sitting still. It comes by speaking aloud your purpose, by acting boldly, and by repeating truth until truth becomes flesh. You may not feel rich today, but that does not matter. What matters is what you believe and repeat. Your present condition is not your permanent reality. No man can stop the one who believes. No circumstance can withstand the one who declares. No amount of lack can survive the one who is filled with faith. Remember, your mind is the master, your subconscious is the servant, and faith is the language that gives orders. Use it well, use it daily, use it now. Let your definite chief aim be your anthem. Let it be the song you sing with joy, the phrase you carry in your pocket, the sentence you whisper as you walk. Say, my fortune is mine, I believe it, I speak it, I receive it. What I believe I shall see. From this moment forward, let there be no more doubt. Let your mind be a temple of belief. Let your heart be a furnace of faith. Let your words carry the tone of a man who already possesses wealth. You have asked, when will I be rich? The answer is simple. When your faith becomes greater than your fear. That is the turning point. That is the day the money begins to move. Now go back to your written statement. Speak it again. Read it aloud with emotion. Stand and declare it. Close your eyes and see the fortune. Open your mouth and believe it into being. This is the way. This is the path. This is the power that builds empires. Faith is your servant. Speak, and it will obey. Now let us continue. There is a silent partner within you. He works without sleep, without complaint, without delay. He never speaks. Yet he executes your deepest instructions with absolute obedience. This silent partner is your subconscious mind, and it is the most powerful tool you possess in the creation of wealth. Your subconscious mind is always working. It is not idle for one moment, and it does not argue. It does not question your judgment. It accepts your dominant thoughts as law and proceeds to turn them into results, whether you intend it or not. You are not a creature of fate. You are the product of what you have allowed to dwell in your mind. Your life is not the result of chance. It is the result of the orders you have silently issued to your subconscious through repeated thought. If you have spoken often of poverty, you have planted poverty. If you have feared lack, you have fertilized it with your attention. If you have talked constantly of your bills, you have instructed your subconscious to deliver more of the same. The subconscious does not judge. It does not filter. It accepts whatever you repeat often enough, and it brings those ideas into form. What you hold in mind, backed by emotion, must appear in kind. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." He understood this truth. He believed the Model T would fill the streets long before anyone else dared to believe it. That belief was planted, nurtured, and repeated until the world simply matched it. Ford did not consult the opinions of men before he built his fortune. He consulted the image in his own mind. He believed in that image so completely that his subconscious accepted it and moved mountains to bring it forth. The subconscious mind is like a fertile field. Whatever you plant, it will grow. If you plant thorns, it grows thorns. If you plant gold, it grows gold. But it cannot tell the difference between treasure and trash. That decision is yours. Most men plant the seeds of lack. They speak of what they cannot do. They fear what might happen. They repeat phrases of limitation. And then they are surprised when poverty blossoms in their lives. You cannot whisper fear into your subconscious and expect it to give you faith. You cannot speak of failure and expect success. You cannot rehearse scarcity and expect abundance to arrive. What you plant is what you grow. The law is exact. The results are always faithful to the seed. If you want wealth, then you must plant wealth daily, deliberately, and emotionally. This is where auto-suggestion becomes your tool of transformation. You must speak aloud your definite chief aim. You must read it twice each day. You must feel it in your heart. You must impress it with emotion. Emotion is the water. Repetition is the sun. Belief is the soil. Together they awaken the subconscious. Together they create results. If one is missing, the growth is weak. If all are present, the harvest is abundant. The subconscious does not sleep. Even while your body rests, your mind is still receiving instructions. If your last words at night are words of purpose and belief, your subconscious will work through the night to fulfill them. You must never speak casually of your life. Words are seeds. Speak only that which you desire. Speak only riches, health, strength, and purpose. Let no idle phrase enter your mouth. When you say, "I can't afford that," you are planting limitation. When you say, "Things are getting worse," you are commanding decay. When you say, "I never win," you are closing the door to success. Guard your mouth. Guard your thoughts. You are shaping your future with each sentence. If you wish to become wealthy, then every word must carry the tone of prosperity and strength. Let your mind be a sanctuary of belief. Let no fear linger. Let no doubt be repeated. The moment a negative thought enters, dismiss it and replace it with one of power. Say aloud, "That is not my thought. I think in riches. I think in purpose. I think in gold." Say it with force. Say it often. Say it until your subconscious accepts no other voice but your own, the voice of definiteness, faith, and action. Every rich man I studied used his subconscious as a silent partner. Carnegie, Rockefeller, Edison, Schwab, they all understood this truth. The mind that is trained commands the world. They impressed success into their minds so deeply that it became inevitable. And once their subconscious accepted it, opportunity, ideas, and people arrived without effort. It is not luck. It is not magic. It is law. Your subconscious is a builder. You give it the blueprint. It handles the labor. But the blueprint must be complete. It must be written with care and repeated with emotion. That is why you must write down your goal. That is why you must speak it aloud. That is why you must read it every morning and every night. Not because it pleases your ears, but because it programs your inner builder. Your subconscious holds your fears, your beliefs, your habits. You cannot afford to let it operate by default. You must train it. You must give it new orders. You must fill it with wealth, or it will continue to repeat your old limitations. You may say, "But I have been poor for so long." That does not matter. The past is gone. The only question is, what are you planting now? Say aloud, "My subconscious mind is a magnet for wealth. I impress riches into my subconscious night and morning." Repeat those words. Write them. Speak them daily. Each time you do, you are pushing out fear. You are rewriting the inner code. You are awakening the part of you that already knows how to create riches. You must not skip this step. You must not say, "I understand it," but fail to do it. The man who listens and applies shall grow rich. The man who listens and forgets shall stay poor. Let me be clear. The world around you will mirror the world within you. Your circumstances are but the reflection of your internal orders. If you want to change the outer, you must command the inner. Plant wealth in your subconscious. Speak prosperity with conviction. Declare riches until they feel natural. And walk each day as if the results are already on their way. You are not hoping for change. You are creating it. You are not begging for wealth. You are building it. Your subconscious, once trained, will bring you what you demand. Say, "Every thought I plant grows into riches. I speak with purpose. I believe with strength. I act with faith." This is the process. This is the method. This is the secret that men of wealth have known and that you now possess. Let us go forward with belief in the mind, purpose in the voice, and wealth in the subconscious. Desire is the seed. Faith is the soil. Autosuggestion is the water. But without action, without organized planning, the seed of riches will never rise from the earth. A man may believe and yet perish in poverty if he never moves his belief into motion. It is a common error to suppose that strong feelings alone bring success. Feelings unaccompanied by action are like a fire without wood. They burn bright, then vanish. Desire alone is not enough. Faith alone is not enough. The man who would command great riches must translate his inner desire into definite plans, and those plans into definite action. You cannot attract riches vaguely. Money is a lover of precision. It flees from those who hesitate. It avoids the man who dreams but does not act. It is drawn to the one who thinks clearly, speaks directly, and moves swiftly. Andrew Carnegie did not become the wealthiest man of his day by faith alone. He believed, yes, but he also planned. He organized his empire by surrounding himself with men who specialized in every field. He did not pretend to know everything. He did not try to do everything. He formed a mastermind alliance, an organized group of minds working toward one definite aim, and he executed with speed. You must do the same. If you are alone, your plan will be limited by your vision. But when you bring other minds into harmony with your own, you multiply your power tenfold. Begin with this. Form a mastermind group. 2 people, 3, 5. But let them be aligned in purpose, disciplined in thought, and faithful to the aim. Meet regularly, share openly, hold each other to account. Next, write your plan. Not a vague intention, but a definite method by which you intend to earn the sum you desire. Will it be through business, investment, service, product? Define the channel. Do not say, "I will make money." Say, "I will earn $100,000 through teaching. I will earn $500,000 through real estate. I will earn $1 million through a publishing enterprise." The plan must be specific. Then take immediate action on your plan. Not next week. Not after you feel ready. Act now. The subconscious mind respects movement. The universe respects momentum. Life respects the man who moves with purpose. Your first plan may be imperfect. That does not matter. Action refines what theory cannot. Begin and correct as you go. Start and allow movement to reveal what still must be shaped. Do not wait for the perfect plan. The man who waits for perfection never begins. The man who moves with decision gains feedback, growth, and strength with each step. Remember this always. Riches are offended by delay. They do not visit the man who hesitates. They pass by the indecisive and reward the one who dares to act. Procrastination is the enemy of fortune. It kills more dreams than failure ever could. The moment you delay, the moment you say, tomorrow, the spirit of riches begins to withdraw. The man who says, let me think a little longer, will still be thinking 10 years from now. The man who acts, learns in motion, corrects as he proceeds, and builds a fortune as he goes. If your first plan fails, make another. If that one fails, make another. But never quit. Riches are not offended by failure. They are offended by giving up. Every great fortune has failure in its history. But no fortune was ever built by a man who allowed failure to end the story. The rich man makes failure his servant by responding with improved planning. When you act, you will meet resistance. Obstacles will arise. Delays will occur. That is not the signal to stop. That is the call to plan again, smarter, sharper, and with greater commitment. You must become as flexible in planning as you are fixed in purpose. The goal remains the same, but the method may change. Adaptability is a law of success. Let me speak to you about decisiveness. A man who hesitates over money shall never hold much of it. He who cannot make decisions quickly will forever be the servant of those who can. Rich men make decisions promptly and change them slowly, if at all. Poor men make decisions slowly and change them frequently. Which one are you? You cannot attract wealth while remaining indecisive. Your subconscious reads hesitation as uncertainty, and uncertainty cannot magnetize riches. It repels them. Do not consult everyone about your plan. The man who needs permission from the crowd will always be ruled by the crowd. Seek counsel from the wise, not approval from the weak. When Carnegie entrusted Schwab with control of U.S. Steel, it was because Schwab moved with certainty. He spoke plans, not theories. He offered action, not ambiguity. The world respects the man who knows what he wants and is bold enough to take it. Your plan, however small it seems, gains power when carried out with decision. Let me give you a formula. Desire plus faith plus plan plus action equals riches. Remove one, and the formula fails. Combine all, and wealth becomes certain. Now, do not just think this, do it. Form your mastermind alliance. Write your plan today. Decide on your course. Take one step before you sleep tonight. That one step may change your life. Say aloud, I act on my plan with courage and speed. Money obeys the man with a definite plan. Repeat those words until they become your truth. Let them guide you in every movement. Let them remove all delay, all doubt, all drifting. Every morning, review your plan. Ask yourself, what can I do today to advance this? What step can I take now? Who must I speak with? What must I adjust? Do not allow a single day to pass without progress. Each day is a brick in the structure of your fortune. Stack them daily, and the mansion of wealth will rise. Your plan is your contract with the unseen. It is the proof that your desire is real. It is the message you send to life that says, I am serious. I am committed. I will have what I have claimed. When you act on your plan, even before the money arrives, you are speaking faith through movement, and that movement awakens unseen forces that begin to align in your favor. The great mistake is to wait. The great truth is to move. Let this be the day you shift from intention to action, from desire to execution, from dream to design. Say this aloud and believe it with power. I do not delay. I do not wait. I act with purpose. I execute my plan. Each action I take brings money closer to my hands. Now go and write your plan. Then act on it before the day ends. Let the world know you are no longer a man who waits, but a man who moves. Let us continue. Fear is the tool of a man-made devil. It requires no chains, no prisons, no weapons. Fear is the invisible assassin of greatness. It kills silently and leaves no wound. It paralyzes the mind, silences the voice, and keeps a man poor, though he walks among gold. Among all the enemies to wealth, none is more cunning, more consistent, more destructive than fear. It is the unseen barrier between desire and achievement. There are 6 basic fears that I identified through my study of thousands of men, 6 ghosts that walk silently beside every failure. But among them, 3 stand as the tyrants of the soul: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health. Each of these poisons a man's mind, stops his hand, and reduces his potential to dust. The fear of poverty is the greatest of all. It is the